Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate North America Open 2019 Finals here at the PAX Arena at PAX East. We are so close to crowning our champions, seeing our winning team, and seeing who's going to move on to those World Championships, the 3v3 Championships in June.
You know what? I think when you came into this, you didn't even think about what was happening in June, right? But now it's like, okay, I know I'm playing for a trophy, right? I'm also playing for a spot to represent North America? Like, what? Like, talk about added pressure, but the guys who are still left in it, you can't deny the fact they are really living up to the hype and the matches that we've seen thus far. I mean, I'm just talking about from a strategical standpoint, item play, the usage of the stage, everything has just come together and created such a magical event thus far, and we're not even finished.
Yeah, we've still got so many sets for you guys, but thinking about who these teams are going to be representing, who they're going to be fighting in the future in the 3v3 World Championships that we're going to see. We're going to see teams from North America, from Europe, from Japan, and from Australia, New Zealand. Vicky, in terms of international talent, I mean, you've got a world stage here.
Yeah, I mean, this is just the practice for the winning team, honestly, and you're just expecting to have so much more talent coming out, international talent at that, where you have people coming from so many different backgrounds, from their own experiences and their own matchup knowledge and their own character specialists as well. But here we have Southeast versus Northwest, Poltergust opening up versus Mystic.
Yeah, with two unorthodox characters we haven't seen before. Poltergust on the Pac-Man and Mystic on the King K. Rool, the Pirate King.
Definitely making their debut here in this bracket, and I'm not mad about it. You know, Pac-Man, I mean, I think he's shown us a little bit, definitely a surprise factor. K. Rool as well. If you don't really know necessarily what's going on with these characters, they're so good at just catching you off guard and just securing those stocks, maybe a little more quickly than you would imagine.
See Poltergust just going for the smash ball, finally landing it. He's gonna let it go.
Pac-Man, let's go.
And keep in mind, that's not one that you really have to set up. That's not a final smash that you have to sort of put in the right position. He just lets it go and secures a stock for his team.
No doubt about it, but here's the character that we've seen Mystic perform so well with, that Bowser Jr. We saw he was able to do it against Seth early on. Let's see if we kind of get some of that magic back. He's gonna need a lot of it. Poltergust has developed quite the lead and doesn't seem like he's looking to let it go anytime soon.
I mean, we're talking about leads. Poltergust is doing so well with Pac-Man, controlling a good amount of space, but also maneuvering himself with the mix-up on the Nair on his shield. Of course, his neutral air coming out, although with the neutral get-up, that forward smash connecting and sending Poltergust to use his second character and his main, Yoshi.
Yeah, so that forward smash just so good at catching neutral get-up because it stays out for so long.
Definitely.
It lingers for so long, and it gets the KO very early. You saw Poltergust only at, I think, 100% after the hit. So Poltergust going to switch over to Yoshi. This is his best character. Have to see how he does against Mystic here.
Doubt about it. It's kind of crunch time. When you're going to bring out your best character, you kind of got to know, hey, I have to get this stock off. You have a very sizable lead, but as we said, Mystic, he's somebody who's really kind of surprised us thus far. The first appearance of this Bowser Jr., such a successful one. No reason to doubt the fact he could bring this one back, but he is in a world of hurt right now, Vicky.
Yeah, I was going to say, honestly, I feel like this match was kind of difficult for Bowser Jr. Not only that I feel like it's difficult for Bowser Jr. to land, but I just feel like Yoshi being able to use that frame 3 Nair, that's such a fast Nair, but Poltergust is also racking up the parts for the Daybreak.
You saw right there Mystic grabbing the edge twice. What happens is the first time you grab the ledge, you're going to have invincibility. The second time, not so much. And you can see the Yoshi with the down smash there as Mystic struggling to find his way in. Ridley, will he finally come online in this tournament?
I was going to say, Ridley, not the best track record thus far throughout this event, but if there's ever a time to show up, it needs to be now. But Polt not struggling at all. You see him already turning his attention to that smash ball and letting it grip. Maybe doing the damage, though, for Mystic, who right now is able to set up.
And that sets up for the strats as well. Sometimes you don't want to be the first one to hit the smash ball. You want to be the last, obviously, so that way you can deal that extra damage necessary to take the smash ball. But the bomb coming out, Mystic holding on to not just a final smash at the ready, but a bomb as well.
Yeah, he lets it go. I think he tried to hit him into it, but Mystic, fortunately, a little misguided. Goes for the neutral B. Yeah, the final smash not going to connect on that. And Poltergust just has all the cards in his favor.
Yeah, that Plasma Scream would have definitely took care of that stock, but the whiff not going to do himself any favors. Polt looking like a man unstoppable, or should I say a
Can he make it? I don't think he can.
Yeah, I don't think he can make it either way.
Just for good measure, bring the Daybreak.
And Poltergust just really bringing it home for his team. But keep in mind, he didn't get to play the last set because he was the third guy. So you saw Wrath and DeVonte take it home for him. But there, he shows that he's earned his spot just as much as anyone else, as the Northwest team is going to reel and try to find their way back into this tournament.
I mean, Northwest still has SWEETT and Austin to work with.
Definitely.
I feel like last time, I believe SWEETT just was able to do so much that they're going to be using SWEETT as, if anything, as an anchor for this team. So we may just see Austin come out instead. Listen,
if I'm Southwest, I'm about as confident as you get. You got your man Polt right there, who honestly is probably regarded as the second best player on the team.
Yeah.
And then you're sending out who a lot of people believe is their pseudo-captain in Wrath, probably the best player that they do have available. You're not thinking that he's going down here. You're thinking you're about to wrap this one up. Quick, fast, and in a hurry. But we shall see. Nothing as we've seen thus far with the upsets already throughout this bracket. Nothing is set in stone.
I think what it comes down to are the characters. We've seen that Wrath can play Inkling, he can play Sonic, he can play a bunch of characters at a high level. SWEETT the same. You can see him sitting forward, which means he's about to go up next. He's going to be using that Palutena, that Pokemon trainer. We've seen excellent stuff from both of these guys. I'm really excited to see how they go sort of head-to-head in the clash.
And I believe Pichu, honestly, showing off as his second strongest character so far in the tournament. We just talked about those combos that we saw him use earlier on, especially for the seeding part of this bracket where, you know, you have to be really aware of what he's going to be doing, especially if you find yourself off stage versus him.
So we'll see as we're about to load into the game, guys. And keep in mind, the winner of this is going to move on into winners finals. I'm sorry, this is winners finals.
This is winner, we're already here.
We're here, baby.
We're
Let's
already
go.
here. Winners finals, and of
Somebody's
course,
trying to go to grand.
Move on to
yeah,
grand.
right. The team that does lose within this match will have to face Northeast.
So here we go, Wrath against SWEETT, and SWEETT starting off with the Pichu. You were talking about that before, sort of his second best character, but I don't know if he's leading with it. He must know something.
All right, we're gonna find out just how confident this man is. You know, it was really an impressive showing that we saw earlier on with the victory over John Numbers. Pretty convincing as well on the back of that Pichu. So if he can kind of bring that same aggression, Wrath could be in a lot of trouble.
So although Pichu is the lightest character in the game, let's talk about how this stage allows Pichu to go forth with the low profile as well, because Pichu is also a pretty small character.
Oh, call in your boys.
We can see how the slopes are going to sort of happen here. SWEETT retreating to the Pokemon, trying to get away, but remember, he racks up so much damage on himself when he uses that Thunder Jolt. When he uses any electricity attack, it actually racks up damage onto Pichu and Wrath. Gonna take advantage of that. He's not even trying to fight here.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
and
that's kind of what you expect out of Wrath. This guy just patience defined as we see a little Picasso artwork coming out to play.
Yeah, that's my boy Vince drawing these pretty pictures, turning Wrath into a tomato.
Oh, okay.
Or tomato for our European viewers.
I actually feel like this is like a double-edged sword too, because although Vince is out on the screen, it also hides what he's doing at the same time.
That's true, yeah. That can be a little frustrating as well, as we see that first stock going by the wayside. Pichu knocked off the top, so now SWEETT bringing out the Palu. Thus far, Wrath's main Sonic serving him well.
Yeah, but he can't really do anything as long as he has that assist trophy, because if he lands at all, he's going to pull it out. He finally lets it go, but you see that SWEETT getting that down throw as a punishment.
Ooh, okay, Smash Ball on the stage as well. Oh my lord, unlock it, and Wrath gonna go super. Imagine if oh my!
So he tried to. I feel like even if he was just getting juggled, I would rather get juggled than try to warp into the hitbox.
PAX, the last possible second. Wrath, what a lead he has built. 137 untested thus far. Still 3 whole stocks. My goodness. SWEETT gonna need a sweet comeback for this.
Yeah, Wrath just looking so solid. Keep in mind, he still has the Inkling that he's been playing all weekend. I mean, that's what he's been using for the most part. Not really the Sonic, but the Sonic's just looking so strong all the same.
Really just kind of just imposing his will thus far. Honestly, the potential to 3-stock here, not unfathomable, but the dash attack from Charizard finally gonna slow Wrath down, but only a bit as he comes down with Palu, and we see just how effective this character has been for him thus far as well.
Yeah, that's why we saw the Charizard come out too. You saw that SWEETT just wanted to close out that stock. Wrath already living to past 150%. It can be pretty troublesome, especially in a format like this.
Definitely.
See, the drill is out. Wrath trying to find the right moment to use it. Tries to use it to cover the ledge option. Not going to happen. SWEETT holding on to that shield for dear life as he bursts out with the forward air.
Gotta watch out for that shield, though. Was getting a little bit low. 122 on SWEETT. Wrath in full control. Gonna take a miracle to bring this one back.
Yeah, I mean, 134 on SWEETT. This is just super rough. But Ivysaur with Rage could do a lot of stuff, so basically what Rage will do is it increases your knockback on your moves, but Wrath with that burst out on that explosive flame, able to get the stop.
He was caught up in the discharge as well, so just all those factors working against him. I mean, you couldn't have scripted that any better.
Yeah, Wrath was like, okay, you're going to be hanging around the discharge, but then I'm going to be able to retaliate back with the explosive flame.
Excellent stuff from the Southeast team, and they're going to move on to Grands as the other team.
In dominant fashion at that,
yeah.
like.
Well, not particularly close. Like we were talking about before, Austin didn't even get to play, and we keep seeing that happen where just sort of 2 teammates get wiped, and then the third player just, unfortunately, he's struggling.
It hurts to be a bystander in that situation. You're just kind of thinking, man, I want to get a piece of that myself, but, you know, when I look at that gameplay, I'm kind of thinking, you know what, I'm all right.
Yeah.
I'll let you guys take care of it.
I'm all right, you know what I'm saying?
On the big stage, too, on the big stage in front of all these people.
Yeah.
Oh, boy, yeah. So we'll have to see what happens in the losers bracket. As you can see, Northeast is going to be going up against Northwest very shortly. Northeast was sort of the favorites coming into this tournament. I believe they were the first seed, and they faced Northwest starting off. So this is going to be a rematch, if I'm not mistaken. Have to see if Northeast can make it happen this time.
All right, well, it's going to be definitely a test for them. But you know what? Hey, to get to this point, get this opportunity, you know what is expected of you, right?
Sure.
Can we go ahead and take care of business? Both of these teams just so talented. And again, just everybody remaining, obviously, just a slew of talent all throughout this bracket. But honestly, who's got just that little bit more in the tank to propel themselves in the grand final?
One thing that I'm really curious about is these teams played before. They played in the winners bracket, first seed against fourth seed.
Yeah.
Vicky, do you think their strategies change up a little bit for this next match? I mean, you got to consider each player is only going to get 1 stock, 1 character. And then also, we've seen what everybody has in their pocket.
Yeah, I was going to say that. You know, now the cards are actually on the table now. There's no really hidden tricks unless they have something that we just haven't seen yet. But I feel like at this point in time, in bracket, everyone knows what's going to be played. Everyone knows what characters everyone's going to be playing for. But maybe little strategies like, okay, maybe you need to be a little bit more patient. If you struggle on landing that KO, maybe understand like, okay, stage control is important at that point. Just try to maintain stage control. Try to grab your opponent, throw them off stage, and see what happens from there. Little strategies that actually help out your mindset as well as your playstyle in remaining patient.
Yeah. Probably playing a little bit slower. I mean, with so much on the line, too. Keep in mind, the winning team, of course, going to represent North America at that World Championship event in June. And EE, I mean, in terms of just getting there, we talked about getting on this stage. We could talk about that all we want. To get to that World Championship 3v3 format, I mean, you're representing your country.
The thing about that is that just for me is the fact, okay, I already know I'm capable of winning on the big stage, right? So when you put me against other competitors who too probably have a similar path in getting to that point, who is the best of the best? That right there, that's fuel and motivation enough. Again, it's all about getting there, but can you take it even further, Coney? That is the true question, and what we're gonna really find out by the winner of this event.
And somebody that's no stranger to that sort of feeling, that trepidation, that nervousness is John Numbers, of course, the 2015 Nintendo World Champion, the runner-up in 2017, fell to Idaho.
Quite the resume. Yeah. And we even talked about this when we were casting back on the qualifiers about how he had that pedigree, if you will, as far as like, you know, the experience for these events. And he's really been that guy who I feel like his team has leaned on, not in a carry sense, but just kind of guide them through mentally.
And we also have to talk about Seth on his team as well. You know, he's very strong Yoshi within the competitive scene, but also having an inkling of his own.
Yep.
I feel like this team could be really scary to mess around with.
Looks like we're starting off as Inkling against Donkey Kong, and these characters could not be more different. Inkling racking up damage very quickly, but has trouble KOing. Donkey Kong has a lot of trouble getting in on an opponent, especially a small one. Once he does, oh boy, you're taking a lot of pain.
No doubt about it.
Got a new skin here, Orange Donkey Kong coming out.
New skin, yeah.
I really feel like that big body just kind of makes him such a target as well for everything Inkling's trying to do. See that splatter shot already just, again, accumulating all that ink and just racking it up. And look at the deficit already that Austin is facing.
Yeah, that does so much more damage. Basically, when you get inked up, you take so much more damage from your opponent. John Numbers just running over him.
Item usage at its finest, folks.
John Numbers is the item.
This man can't believe it.
He's just expressing how we all feel right now. John Numbers blowing through Austin's stock. Only 13% on that first one. I wonder if we're going to see another situation like we did in that last game where Seth ran through the whole team.
Can we just talk about how John Numbers just looks like this is just another day at work? Like, he's like, yeah, I know, I practiced that.
It is, Vicky. It is.
He's fine. Looks like Mystic has swapped over to Bowser Jr. I wonder if it's because we saw the Ridley all weekend. We just haven't seen it working out today.
It hasn't been his go-to on this stage thus far. I feel like the Bowser Jr. has served him far greater, but I mean, it takes so much to combat somebody like John Numbers, and you kind of just, momentum plays such a huge factor in how this can really go down. And that first game from Numbers, my goodness, how do you slow somebody like this down? He's just like a bulldozer right now.
And like what you were talking about, Vicky, the patience from John Numbers, he's sort of sitting back waiting for Mystic, and you just said this. I mean, Numbers taking a much more sort of deliberate approach.
That and like, did you notice how he recognized the situation with the splatter shot where he could actually send the Koopalings away from himself, so it's not going to be a problem in this matchup itself.
All right, Smash Ball making its first appearance.
Mystic trying to create as much distance as he can, get as much time alone with that Smash Ball, but the Smash Ball does get caught up on the ledge, as you can see here. That does happen sometimes. It will get itself free. It can throw you off.
All right, he's really committed to that forward smash, and here comes the killer whale, and it ain't Shampoo, but it's making a splash right now, almost securing that stock.
Oh my gosh, and even retaliating through that up air with the down air. Hanging below the platform to stay safe.
Mystic is struggling right now, 142, and that's just the damage racking potential of Inkling, like we talked about. You could take so much damage seemingly out of nowhere.
Terrifying. This would be a tremendous play from Mystic if he's able to secure this stock. John Numbers obviously not going to make it easy. You know, there's no quitting this man. Oh my goodness, but that roller, and you're gonna roll out.
You got all the time in the world when they're at that percent. John Numbers, the man of the hour, coming through, taking out 2 stocks from the opponent team.
And he knew at that point he was able to use roller because Mystic was at a higher percent at that point. And you saw how he was trying to mesh out of it. But of course, when you are at a higher percent, it gets difficult to get out of that situation.
Just put the controller down.
Yeah, at that point, you gotta walk away, man. You gotta know when it's done.
I'm saving you some wear and tear on your controller, all right? You ain't getting out of that one.
All right, so here we go. It looks like Numbers has come up against what many would consider sort of the final boss of the opponent team. It is SWEETT. Have to see if SWEETT can make this happen on Castle Siege. Keep in mind, the blast zones are much closer on this stage, so both teams will be able to KO a little bit easier.
All right, well, let's find out. Almost kind of a pseudo rematch, and a little bit of retribution for John Numbers, who was certainly on the losing side in their first exchange, but right now he has just put his team so far ahead, and honestly accumulating some sweet damage thus far on SWEETT.
Now keep in mind the pitfall is in the center of the stage. SWEETT throwing that out. John Numbers trying to make it back. Waits for the down air from Ivysaur. So smart.
Absolutely. And can you imagine if John Numbers is able to just kind of clean house? I mean, you know, we're talking about it, but as I'm seeing this, it has the potential to unfold. Yeah. He has just been an absolute beast. And just no answers coming out from this squad.
Oh, but the pitfall's still active. I don't think John Numbers realized it was out for that long.
Yeah, you called it, Coney. You noticed that he put it right in the center stage. We were thinking maybe Seth and DTFAUX were not going to play here, but we were wrong.
I thought that John Numbers knew about it because he was being a little cheeky. He was standing right next to it, and I thought he was saying, all right, you think I'm going to touch this? I'm not going to touch this. But apparently he didn't know. I don't know. He thought it went away. Maybe it was
I thought it was gone too, because like obviously I saw him. He's going to kind of rush over and try and get a shot at that smash ball, but was not meant to be. And perhaps maybe a little bit of dumb luck is exactly what you need to get yourself back in this thing if you're thinking you're SWEETT.
So DTFAUX going to be next up. Have to see how the Incineroar fares. Keep in mind, Pokemon Trainer going to spawn, I believe, with the Squirtle starting off. Yeah, so these early combos can be super devastating.
They are, but Squirtle's also not that heavy of a character. Actually, pretty light himself. He is at 63%, but it doesn't matter. We're almost at an even stock here as he uses these platforms to allow him to convert further.
Light character putting out that big damage, exactly what SWEETT needs in the early goings of this exchange. DT gotta be somebody he's kind of thinking, okay, I mean, I know he's talented, but maybe this gives me the best opportunity to close this gap up without taking too much percent. 93, make it 110. Not sure Pokemon was unleashed. Oh my goodness, stay out of that ring. Oh, I'm trying to warn you.
Yep,
he flare blitzed out, though. That was
there.
smart. He used the flare blitz to escape that situation, though. Kudos.
Super smart, and the slowdown almost tripped up DTFAUX. SWEETT on his tournament life here, trying to find a way to make it back to the stage. He picks up that piece of the Dragoon. He has to play this so slow against the Incineroar.
He does, and although Charizard is pretty strong and a hard hitter, he also has pretty large hurt boxes himself.
And he does.
One Alolan Whip might be all it takes unless he's on the other side of the stage because Charizard is just so heavy. SWEETT trying to find his way back into the game. He wants the up throw.
I think for SWEETT, he can maybe take advantage of the fact DTFAUX is probably nervous in this situation. It's almost set up perfectly for him to win, but it's not necessarily going his way. SWEETT, the time is now to strike.
This is so close.
He wanted the chop so bad. SWEETT fighting for his life here. He goes for the chop. He's going to get punished. He's going to get up smash, and SWEETT keeps his team in the game. game.
I'm telling you, Coney, when you gotta make plays, when everything is set perfectly on the table, you show up and you just spill the milk. And it's unfortunate. That's kind of the way DTFAUX came into that one. I think SWEETT knew, I'm playing with house money. I have nothing to lose right now. And still, not a long shot, but a shot nonetheless to bring this one back.
We were talking about Charizard having large hurt boxes, but we also have to note that Charizard's a heavy compared to Ivysaur and Squirtle.
Absolutely.
But he is at 156% against a character and player like Seth using Yoshi. This is the final boss. This is the final boss. He just came in there with a back air, a multi-hitting move that could be a little difficult to avoid in this game, coming in and closing up the shop.
That's sort of what happens when you play ARMS and you get the Max Brass and Max Brass just beats you
I was
up.
going
Like,
to say, I mean, you mentioned final boss. That was me anytime I ever try to beat a game, just Dunskies.
Yeah, really rough there, but you could see that Seth just was ready. He got the shield poke with that back air, and I think SWEETT at a particular disadvantage because he starts off with Squirtle, he went to Ivysaur, but you can't play a full stock with Charizard. It puts you at a severe disadvantage, but he had to go that character just because it's so heavy.
Well, I'm thinking he was thinking, okay, well, you know, I get the Ivysaur out, a little bit of a mid-weight there. Obviously, I have the potential to rack up some damage, but Seth, to his credit, didn't do anything unnecessary. Just spaced those bears, able to connect one, and that's all you needed in that situation. Kudos to him. Not doing anything extra, just what was needed.
Yep. Absolutely excellent stuff to SWEETT trying to make it happen, but Seth going to put it on the board, and they're going to advance on to our grand finals. Let's kick it over to the bracket Southeast against the Northeast happening right now. East Coast, stand up.
Let's go.
And we're going to see how this goes here.
I mean, we have both Seed 1 and Seed 2 facing off in grand finals. Honestly, a little bit not surprised at the same time. We were referring to certain teams that we had our eyes out for. Myself looking at the Southeast side, and now Northeast meeting up with them very soon. I'm really excited to see how this is going to be playing out.
What I'm interested in is that we saw Northeast fall very early. They were the #1 seed in the tournament, fell to a loser's bracket immediately, and clawed all their way back to this. In terms of momentum, these guys going through so many other teams, finding their spot, making their way back to grand finals. How do you think their shot is against the favorite team, Southeast?
I think it's extremely well, because what they've discovered is, okay, we can overcome and play through this adversity. Okay, we lose early on, and what do? We just mount a comeback game after game after game. And at different aspects of the games, you're seeing their players are able to step up. It's not an individual effort. It's a team effort. And somebody needs to show up and bring it. That's what they're doing.
We'll have to see how it goes. Yeah, Northeast fighting their way back. They're going to take on the Southeast in just one moment. Guys, don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. We're going to be right back with more Squad Strike and the finals of the North America Open 2019. Don't go anywhere.